Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to Mckola Howson Uncensored. As you can tell, Howson got banned today. He came into the office with a mohawk. I looked at him. Not having that.
No.
Not having
like
that.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, aren't
Got
you?
this long-haired freaking instead.
Yeah, it's somehow worse than a mohawk, isn't it? But
It's not worse than a mohawk. It's proper manly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cheers.
You see Vikings with hair like that,
Yeah,
don't you?
exactly.
Big axes.
Big long hair,
in their hands.
axes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their wives looked a bit like this as well, though, didn't they? So,
Same beard.
same beard. You know how it was back in the day. You get what you can get.
How you doing, Joe?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all right. The weather's brightened up, which is
Lovely.
good, isn't it?
Really nice. You're in your short sleeves.
Yeah. I don't normally like to wear short sleeves, but
No.
we're out here in short sleeves, walking around, there's people about. The world's slowly but surely starting to...
Nature is healing.
That's the word.
That's what they say.
for.
Remember when everyone's saying nature is healing?
Yeah.
And then now, all of a sudden, people are back in the parks, leaving cans everywhere. That doesn't count as nature. That's still nature.
We are nature.
Yeah, we're still nature, we're just bad nature.
Nature are scumbags, man.
Yeah,
That's
nature's
what nature
bad.
is. Have you seen Seaspiracy, bro?
No. Netflix.
I think you should watch it. Do you like eating fish?
Yeah, what are you, a waiter? Excuse me, sir, do you like eating fish? Well, may I suggest the sea bass? It's absolutely... What do you mean, do I like eating fish, yeah?
Do you like eating fish?
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't watch it then.
Why?
See, I don't eat fish.
I only eat goldfish from
I
the
only
fair,
eat-
though. That's all I eat. I go to the fair, coconut shy, win the goldfish.
Do people still give away goldfish at fairs?
Got to be illegal now.
Because you're bringing them home,
Yeah.
checking them about. Sometimes the bag would get popped, so water would be
The
spilling
amount of
out.
times that you come home and you're like, right, that's all right, tapping it. It's
Could
like
literally
looking
be in the
at, you get
same
home, it's
bag
just-
as candy floss.
Yeah, you look at it, it's just floated to the top. Oh, goldfish is
We
gone.
used to have this place, people in the Birmingham will know, Perry Hall Park, yeah. We used to go Perry Hall Park. Catch tadpoles, bro. Put them in a bucket and carry that bucket like 2 miles home, bro. By the time we would get home, motherfuckers be dead.
Yeah, of course they will. They're not meant to live in a bucket. They probably had shit
But
or
we
cement
wanted
in
to
it.
have frogs in ends.
Yeah, but what you do is you pour the frog spawn into this new water that they've never been in. They're like, sorry, what the fuck is going on? And there's all
Yeah.
the koi carp eating them.
We didn't know about that.
One of my mates, his next door neighbour, he used to have a pond, and in that pond he used to get frogs. He stuck a straw up a frog's arse, blew it until it blew up, and then threw it against the wall and
didn't.
it popped.
He didn't.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that happened in Shrek.
Well, I've seen it.
In fact, I saw that happen in Shrek.
Okay.
They
well,
turned a frog into a balloon in Shrek.
yeah,
wasn't
well, they didn't turn it into a balloon. They turned it into a popped frog on a wall.
You watching Family Guy, right? You know, they go...
Trying to get back up. No, it's real. Horrible, scary stuff used to go on over there, but I liked it.
Kids do the weirdest things, don't they?
Yeah, I didn't like it when they killed the frog. I'll be honest, that freaked me out a bit.
Because when I was a kid, crazy stuff, mate. Burning ants nests.
Rabbits over the balcony.
No, I never threw my rabbits over the balcony.
someone did, though.
My cousin threw my rabbits over the balcony. And he was... See, we can't jump... You can't bring that story up as a
Little
bop. Because people are going to be like, what?
Well, just tell it. Some people have heard it. Tell
When
it
I was a
quicker.
child, I lived in a flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teviot Tower in Newtown.
Class.
We lived there. Yeah, in the end. And then we had a hutch, a rabbit hutch. I had one, and my cousin Colette had one, and my nan would keep them on the balcony
It's nice of her.
in the hutch.
Somewhere safe.
I lived with my nan, you see. So then, and my mum and dad, not just my nan. So then, my cousin comes round, little shit. It's about 2 years old, 3 years old. Bro, picked up the rabbits, dashed them over the balcony, bro.
Both at once.
I don't know if
No remorse.
what order they went in or what not. Who died first?
Yeah, oldest first.
I just remember being heartbroken, and
Did you see them?
I
at the
don't
bottom?
think I've ever forgiven him.
Did you ever see him at the bottom?
Yeah.
Did you clear him?
'Cause my mum went and picked them up, bro. My mum was like, I don't know why she picked them up. It would have been like
I'd have just done. Do you know like
13th floor we lived on.
that's mad? Do you know like at school when they just put sawdust on it and every problem? Someone's cracked their open,
Puke.
sawdust. Someone's been sick, sawdust. Someone's done a shit in like the cloakroom, sawdust. I'd have just put some sawdust on them rabbits and hope that they went away.
Talking about Newtown. We once went swimming. And we got to swim in Newtown swimming baths, yeah. We used to go Saturdays, Sundays. If my dad wouldn't take us to the Grange and the slides, yeah. That was the rich man ends. If my dad would take us there, we could go enjoy the slides and that. But if not, you just have to go Newtown swimming baths.
So what's
out
happening
there.
in Newtown then?
It's just a pool. It's just a baby pool in a big pool.
A
Yeah,
square,
that's it.
Square of wet.
Sometimes a float.
A big wet square with a
Yeah.
foam if you're lucky.
But one day we got there, we've paid and that. gone round.
That's a start.
Gone in. As we're walking past the pool to get to the changing rooms, as you do sometimes, there's a shit in the pool. So we ended up going home
Log in the deep end.
We went out at 8, got back home at 9. I think we ended up spending our because next to Newtown Swim Baths had this shop called Big Deal, which was like a pound shop. So I think we spent our money in there anyway. But we didn't go swimming that day because there was shit in the pool.
Did you see it?
There was a Duke in the pool, yeah.
Was it a floater?
It was.
No way. Stuck to the top.
And like, I remember some poor cat chasing
With a
it
net.
out.
I'm
to think of it,
Yeah.
they probably never cleaned that pool out after
No,
that.
of course
innit?
not. What are you going to do? Take all that water out, put new water in? Do you know, I've had friends who've had or like rented, do you know you can rent like a hot tub?
Yeah.
Do you know filling one of those things up takes like overnight?
Oh, bro,
Imagine emptying a 25-metre pool and having to... What they did is they just sprayed a bit of Dettol in there or put a bit of toilet duck in because someone's done a shit. Do you know what you do? Do you know the little ridge around the inside of the pool? Put those little toilet duck hooks on. Do you know what they have on the edge of the toilet? Put 20 or 30 of them in, get it smelling nice, put a bit of extra chlorine in. That's all they would have done. Fish that poopy out. And how weird is it, by the way? You go swimming and you're an adult, like you could be a 70-year-old woman doing a night swim, and there's a lifeguard there who is a 14-year-old who has just learnt to swim about 4 years ago, and all of a sudden they do one course, and now it's up to them. My mates used to do lifeguarding when they were about 13, 14. And you're meant to be dragging 7 old ladies who are falling off a life raft.
Pamela Anderson, Hasselhoff running after her.
We get Ross, who can barely swim, and he's got
Not Ross
sport.
from Things.
No.
Or Ross Murphy from the comics.
No, Ross from Kilton.
Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right,
He
should we talk a bit about
stinks.
football? Let's talk some football. There's some stuff you wanted to talk about in there. I wanted to get your head around. I mean, you've already mentioned Steve not being here because he's got a Mohican. Should we talk about Ollie?
New rules now, innit? No Mohicans allowed.
We'll explain a bit about that. What are you on about?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did an interview with Joe Tomlinson, our mate. Football
Do you know him?
days. Joe Tomlinson. Yeah, he's a good lad. I like Joe. We've sent him a few of our T-shirts out. I hope you got them, Joe. Make sure you share them and post a link in that. But Joe, yeah, he's a good lad. He's done an interview with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he missed a trick there because I wanted to just feed him a sentence to say.
So what happened?
So he's interviewed him, and during that interview, the quote of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out where he said he once went to scout a player.
He doesn't say if it was for United, does he?
No, he went to scout a player, saw he had a mohawk. It was the shortest scouting session ever. And I just wanted to say to him, so you wouldn't have played David Beckham, mate? What about, you don't want Paul Pogba to sign a new contract, mate? Yeah. I just find it really weird, but me and you were talking about this earlier.
It's a bit Brexit football, isn't it? It's a little bit boomer. Do you know what I mean? Okay, boomer. If we can bring back that old phrase. It's a bit like on old-fashioned dad, proper 50s dad stuff. Fancy haircut, not for me.
Yeah, even though they grew up watching like Brian Robson with a perm.
Yeah, imagine how people used to have perms and mullets in the 80s. Shit players had mullets. Imagine the audacity you'd have to have now to wear a mullet when you're in League Two.
Yeah.
But people used to do it. I wonder if, in defence of him, first of all, I think it might have been a bit of a joke. I think he was being light-hearted and sort of messing about. I reckon he still... Because the quote makes out like he walked out of the tunnel to warm up. He went, Mohawk, laters. Didn't even stay and watch the game. I reckon he stayed and watched the game, but he probably either wasn't right or he wasn't good enough. I reckon he just had a sort of sour taste in his mouth and kind of thought, right, you know what, I'm not so keen on this guy. Let's see if he proves me wrong, and he didn't. I can't imagine he literally just jogs out with his bib on to do a bit of passing to warm up, and he's like, Mohican, see you later, finish your tea.
I hope it was one of those things. It worries me because you shouldn't judge a player by their haircut.
Obviously.
But I hope it's one of those things where he saw the player, didn't like him anyway. And you know when you go like, well, he had a mohawk, I should have knew from the start. You know, one of them throwaway kind of comments. And because English, obviously, he's fluent in English, but it's not his first language. Like sometimes he uses the wrong words in places and stuff like that. I'm hoping it was that. But if he was being serious, it makes you go, You said it made you cringe.
I wonder if he's sort of pandering.
Right into your
I wonder if he's... No, I didn't say that. I wonder if he was pandering to kind of like what he thinks proper footy fans think. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh,
but then
fucking
that's
Pogba
how we're
with
going
his
to end up
fancy
with Fred
haircut.
McTominay for life in midfield.
Yeah. But he bought Cavani and he's got silly long hair. So maybe he's changed his mind.
You know about silly long
Yeah,
hair,
exactly.
don't
Yeah, exactly. I reckon, though, the thing is, maybe the one defence could be, if you're David Beckham, by the time David Beckham had a mohawk, when was that, 2000? 2001, 2. He was one of the best players in the world already. By the time Pogba had a mohawk, he was winning titles at Juventus. Maybe there's something in it where it's like, if you're a 17-year-old trying to prove yourself, he thinks that's not the time to have
players
a
do
outlandish.
things to stand out.
I agree. I'm just trying to come up with
players just do their hair like that.
I agree.
I was running around with mohawks because I thought it was David Beckham, bro.
Would you say your attitude is that of a Premier League footballer?
Talent is.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. All the scouts saw. Look at this little fucking kid. Who's he thinking he is with his mohawk? David Beckham.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
they didn't actually see I was as good as David Beckham. Left-footed brown becks, they called me.
Did they? Who calls you that?
No one.
No.
Just me.
It's a shame that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell you what though, actually, Adam, because this video is sponsored by Manscaped. Did you know that?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Speaking of,
I love Manscaped.
whipping your balls into shape.
Talking about golden balls.
Speaking of golden balls, this podcast is sponsored by Manscaped. And COVID spring break, if you can imagine such a thing, is right around the corner. Basically...
Have you ever been spring break?
Accidentally. So when my grandparents used to live in Florida, so we would go down to the beach. We went at Easter one time, and the beach had like Red Bull tents popping up everywhere, kids screaming, drinking like Coors Light and stuff. Very fun time. But the one thing you wouldn't have wanted there, when everyone's walking around in the bikinis and that, all my fat pubes hanging out the sides. So that's why you've got to use Manscaped, because spring break in your pants cannot stop just because of COVID, Adam. And we are here to ensure that that party continues. And for our listeners, for our viewers at home, you can get 20% off and free shipping using the code Paddock20. Now, we've all had it in the past where you're shaving, you're nicking your mum's razor, you're finding a rusty old blade down the back of the sofa that probably someone's used someone's probably used to cut a carrot in the 80s. And you're trying to shave your ass with that. It's not going to work, is it? You've got to get the primo stuff. Come on. You know what we're talking about here.
Well, I use it.
Oh, bit.
Anti-nick technology, mate.
Anti-nick technology.
No more do I nick my balls.
No.
No more do you have that horror of, thinking you just got away with it, looking down, oh my God, how much blood. Can that much blood come out of a nutsack?
Yeah, without me having to go to hospital. But you don't have to worry about that with Manscaped. It's the full body grooming regime. Here's the thing. Front short, the front works. It's got a light on it, so the undercarriage works as well. If you can see it, you can groom it. Get your missus to do your back. Get your mum to do your back if you're going out on a date. Mum, take the guard off, we're going 0. That's what you say. She whips you back into shape, and if any lady's giving you a massage or any man's giving you a massage on your back, hang on a sec. What's that? What's happened here? Look at this pristine skinnery. And you go, that's Manscaped. And you can get 20% off and free shipping using the code Paddock20.
Ball deodorant.
Yeah.
Every
single time I get out of the shower, I go...
They even chucked me a thing which was for my foot.
Yeah.
My feet smell nice now.
Yeah.
They have it all covered, bro. They are literally the balls.
Yeah, the crop cleanser.
The dog's bollocks.
Yeah, they've got all sorts going on. They've also got an aftershave as well if you are so inclined. A lovely cologne. But make sure, for a limited time, subscribers can get 2 free gifts, a shed travel bag worth £39 in value, and the patented high-performance, reduced chafing Manscaped boxers. All you have to do is click on the link in the description, go to manscaped.com and use code Paddock20 for 20% off and free shipping. The boxers?
They're Manscaped boxers, by the way. They're so good for playing football in.
Yeah.
They
just
snug. They keep your shit in shape.
Yeah.
And they're nice. I wore them yesterday to play football in.
Yeah, fantastic. Again, manscaped.com and use the code Paddock20 for 20% off and free shipping. Thank you very much to Manscaped for sponsoring. Click the link in the description.
Cheers,
man. Something else I wanted to talk about. Speaking of ball bags, Mina Raiola's been chatting wesh, as I like to say. I came up with that myself, so you can't say where you got that from.
Speaking of ball bags.
Mina Raiola's been chatting wesh.
You know what though? His neck actually looks like ball bags, doesn't it?
A little bit.
It does, doesn't it? You know your ball skin is the toughest skin on your body.
Would you say so?
It's like this. It's like this. You know that skin there? You pinch that. You can't hurt that.
It's illegal. But
Same as your balls.
You can give him a squeeze and roll, can't you, a little bit?
And it don't hurt.
But what's Mina Raiola been saying?
Mate, he's been talking again, hasn't he? Let's get the quotes out because we want to know for sure.
He's been chatting trouser, as he tends to do. He comes out, he
mad
talks crap, he talks rubbish. Does it annoy you the term talking macca? It basically means talking shit, and you're often referred to as macca. Does that bother you?
No, because that's probably the first time I've heard that phrase in ever.
Steve says it, doesn't he? It's very much a Stephen Howson phrase.
Does anyone listen to it?
That's why we've used it on this show as an ode to
Does anyone listen to Steve?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I listen to him.
Okay.
I like listening to him.
One of very few.
Don't you dare. What's he said?
Raiola was speaking about Fergie. Listen, Raiola, keep his name out your filthy fat mouth. Son of a bitch. He says, when Fergie says I don't like him, that's the biggest compliment I could have. It's like saying Sepp Blatter says I don't like him. Fantastic. I don't care what Ferguson says. I don't give a fuck. If I never do another player with Manchester United, I'm not in their hands. And you know what? He's kind of got to take that mentality, hasn't he?
I don't know.
For as much as he might be a wanker, for as much as Fergie might be right, what do you want him to do? Cry about it?
No, I don't want him to cry about it. But like the way of saying like, it's the best compliment I can get. That's all very like year 8 stuff, innit?
Yeah, it's
like,
he got his own way with everyone.
Actually, you saying that is probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, that you think I'm a dickhead. Because actually you're a dickhead, so I don't value your opinion anyway. Just a bit childish, innit? He always has to come out and do it. When did Fergie even say that?
It was like something he did at Harvard or something, wasn't it? Because some student filmed.
We read a little bit out on the Stretford Paddock Transfers Live last night. One of the
great
quotes
show,
from his great show. One of the quotes from his book Leading about Raiola, but that came out 6 years ago. Like, get over it.
Mino also said Pogba is fantastic appeal worldwide. I heard from United that he's appreciated also from Solskjaer's side. Today, if somebody asked me, can you find a club for Paul? I could take my nephew of 5 years and find a club for Paul at a high level, which is a good, fair point. Nothing wrong with that.
Could your nephew do that?
I haven't got one. So, bit fucked there, innit? I don't give a fuck if I never do another player. Stop saying do players, man. You know what? To be fair, you're fucking the clubs. It's the only people you are doing. I'm not in their hands. I'm independent. Now, this is interesting.
Go on then.
Because you discussed this yesterday. Guardiola, I've closed the book on a long time ago. Everybody knows what I think of him personally. He can say what he thinks for me personally. Is that not going to happen then? I've had in my head, Haaland City, done.
Do you think?
But that makes me think, Haaland City, no chance.
I think Raiola knows what he's doing. I think he's given it the old, I can't bear Pep Guardiola. I hate Guardiola. I don't deal with Guardiola. I think that's kind of like, send you one way and then go the other way and I sell Haaland to City. I think that's probably him purposefully putting Guardiola's name out there as a way to kind of make people think that Haaland's going elsewhere, drum up attention, because he wants to get the most money for his client, doesn't he? So the more people that they can perceive Haaland going to, the more money he will get for him. And also, the more clubs that are linked with Haaland, just the bigger Raiola becomes, the bigger Haaland becomes. It's just, he likes the circus, he likes
Agents
the fanfare.
are needed, though, because ultimately, how can I explain this? But I'm not agreeing with everything Raiola says and does. I don't, But agents are needed, because otherwise, what you're going to find is the money in football doesn't go to the footballers. It just goes to these businessmen that own the club and then sucked out of the game. At least when it's going to footballers, it's going to the people with
talent,
that are fucking talented. You need that to be able to allow them to get a fair share of the pie. You need agents to be able to do that. But agents at the same time also, someone just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and I always think when it comes to people saying like greedy players or why we want that much money, isn't this enough? You think at least that money, like you said, is going to the people here who actually have the talent, who actually have a gift that 99.99% of people in the world don't do, rather than people who, I own a club because my parents were rich, now I'm rich and I decided to buy a football team. I don't want them getting the money. Let people who are actually massively talented, who have worked at this their whole life, who are the people we pay to watch. We don't pay to watch the owners. We don't pay to watch the backroom, the board. Not the backroom staff; they do a good job. But the board, these rich owners, these rich people in powerful positions. Let the players get the money. So I agree with you. Agents are needed. I don't think you need to be a dickhead all the time, though, like he is. Look at George Mendes. He's been massively successful as an agent. He was sort of the first super agent, wasn't he, in the early 2000s?
It's almost funny, though.
He don't come out and
there's a bit here where, in this article with Barnett, who is Gareth Bale's agent, and Raiola, where they're joking to each other about who's the biggest. And it's like, Jorge Mendes is probably the biggest. He doesn't need to start joking about who's the biggest because he knows. And it's kind of like, if you need to say it, Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't need to say these things. Like,
No.
you should just be.
But
So I do think sometimes it becomes about them rather than their players,
Yeah.
which is dangerous.
But that's because he wants the next crop of young players or the next crop of world-class players to be his clients. He wants Mbappe to read that, or he wants all these people to go, "Oh, Raiola, he's going to really fight for me. He's got me at heart. He's got my needs at the forefront of his business model. I'll go with him." So he's keeping himself relevant.
Here's a comment that Barnett made in relation to him and Mino. He said, "The problem is the press in Britain are the worst. It's not just about agents." And again, thank you to The Athletic for these quotes. "Anybody who earns money in Britain is attacked." I agree with that.
Yeah, I do.
It's
Especially
wrong to
footballers.
make money in Britain. So you, the media, have a go at them. I'm not denying I've made a lot of money. Mino won't deny he's made a lot of money. But we've made it because we've done well for our clients. If we made money on the back of hurting a player, we should be crucified, but we haven't. So nobody should begrudge us the money.
I think some players have been hurt by moves. I think some players have made moves where their agent said, "This is good because it will get me and you this money," and then their career has gone away. Like, I mean, again, you can't really begrudge it because if money is the only object, money is the only, objective, should I say, then Oscar's move to China has been successful. But if having a football legacy, having a career that you can look back and be proud on, excelling in the tournaments that as a child you watched and loved and wanted to do well in, I don't think Oscar's move to China has been necessarily a successful thing in that regard. But again, it's done well for our clients. What does that mean? Is it getting them the most money? Because Oscar,
And I
great,
suppose
take 400 grand a week in
They
China.
have to tailor that to their clients, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because some clients will want to be successful and won't want to keep moving, and some others
Some people want to stay at one club their whole career, regardless of what happens. Some players want to move about as much as they can, get the most money they can.
Sometimes you find players that come from poorer or lesser off countries tend to want to move more so that they can raise more money for their family's wealth.
Understandable.
And you can't argue with that.
Like you look at someone like Igalo. We've seen him speak about his family and what his upbringing was like, and the fact that doing what he's been able to do has changed not his life, but his family's life, his town's life, where he's from's life. He's been able to do that sort of thing. So you can't begrudge that, and that's the thing. It depends for each client, but I think sometimes the agent will go, "This is the move." Or like the thing with Haaland, and again, it's not been bad for him. Obviously, he's gone to Dortmund, but he's not won anything in the last 2 years, and he's been one of the best strikers in the world in that time. He could have gone somewhere where he could have won trophies, and he's very young, so it won't matter. But that move was, if we go to Dortmund, they're only going to pay 30 million because that's what the buyout clause is. Then we'll get another buyout clause. So in the next 3 years, you can sell for 100 million. Like no matter what, whereas otherwise we might get the 30 million, then you might sign a 6-year. Like that was a money-making sequence of moves that, you could say has been successful or maybe it hasn't. But I think if Haaland had been at United or Chelsea or City or Real Madrid or Bayern for the last 2 years, he'd have won some trophies and would have even higher stock than he has now. So yeah, I mean, he's obviously a good agent. But
Do you
he's an
think we'd
absolute
go
dick.
back in for Haaland?
Yeah.
Considering the relationship.
I don't think Ollie would talk about him if we weren't. Do you think, right, if Ollie knew for certain that Haaland was signing for City, do you think he'd answer all these questions about him? Do you think he'd say how much he texts him, how much he likes him, how much we're chatting? I don't think he would.
He's openly courting him, isn't he?
Yeah, because as soon as he moves to City, those questions and answers stop. Like, let's say next season, Haaland starts for Manchester City, and someone says to Ollie, "You've got a good relationship with Haaland, how's he liking it at Man City?" Do you think he answers and goes, "Yeah, I like to chat to him. What happens between us?" I think he goes, "I don't talk about other clubs' play." I think the line changes, and if Ollie knew for certain Haaland was starting for City next season, and not saying he won't, but like the idea that it's already done, I don't think Ollie would be speaking the way he is. I think he thinks there's still a chance.
Definitely. Do you still think there's a chance Pogba stays at United? We're hearing talk today that the deal doesn't want to be signed. But again, it's not. Raiola's been speaking this week. It hasn't come from Raiola.
No.
So it's come just as a rumour.
But it's basically, we're getting worse to both worlds, aren't we? He's staying another year, but he ain't signed a new contract. That's what the current rumour is.
Yeah.
Which is shit. Because you get him.
United have to throw everything at him to keep him.
Well, when you say get a new deal out of him, because otherwise we're losing him for free next season. And in the meantime,
And you're kind of playing into Raiola's hands. If you hate Raiola, you're them saying to him, "Go make yourself 50 million."
Yeah, get yourself a 30 million signing on fee somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's staying, we've got to get a deal for him. Because otherwise, We lose him on a free next summer. We won't spend the money to replace him. No offence to him, but it's not his job to do this. But he won't earn us the money that it's worth what we would get from this season, next season. You know what I mean? We might get 60 million from this year, but by the end of next season, we're not going to have made 60 million from him in the next 12 months, which again isn't his job to do that. But we will be losing a lot of money if we do that. And probably to the point where we won't be able to replace him adequately. So if he's going to go, he's got to go now.
Yeah. And that's probably what they're trying to force. If they're going to say we're not signing a deal, then the next step is, all right, we're going to sell you, isn't it? Because if this was Football Manager, do you? I've currently, I'm in 29-30 at the moment. I got an old Rodri playing for my Sunderland side.
29-30 and you're still having to sign players like Rodri?
No, Rodri's been there for 3 years already. But
where are you in the league?
Huh? I won a Champions League last year.
Did you? With Rodri in the team?
Yeah. Declan Rice, Rodri. Jeremy Doak, who's the guy on left wing, if you want to know. Plays for Belgium at the moment, scored the other day. But I'm Football Manager, he's the one. Bosko Koranovic, right back, top-notch fella. Juan Aguilera's good. I call him Christina.
Of course.
Because,
Christina
Aguilera.
Dirty.
And that. But he's missed training 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months. Partying it was. Seen coming out of a nightclub late. So I sold him.
Hanging out the back of a nightclub, was
I
he?
sold him, mate.
Did you? How much?
I got half the value of him. But I bought him for 2 mil. His value was 25. I sold him for 12 and a half.
It's not ideal, though, is it?
But I had to, because who the fuck do you think you are, bruv?
Are you like that?
I know this is a computer game, and it doesn't really bother me.
It seems to.
But the 4th time...
You're shaking.
The 4th time...
You're visibly shaken.
But the 4th time...
Yeah.
I can't even speak English. The 4th time that you...
Get caught, having whatever he's doing, getting...
And it was when he had...
Prostitutes.
You know when mans have 6.25s in training, and you criticise them and say, hold on, mate, sort your shit out. When I criticised him, he said, my training ain't bad. Bro, you got a whole 6.25 there, 3 times in a row.
Training's bad.
So don't sign Christina.
Right. It might be all right for me. I think my management style is better than yours.
Now, your management style...
You're very hands-off.
I had... basically, I loaned Ted Mengi, Ethan Laird and Hannibal off United for about 4 seasons consecutively. I just kept loaning
You're ruining
them.
careers out
Kept
here.
loaning them. What do you mean, mate? I helped them win things, bruv.
What, did they come back?
Huh?
Are they in the team now?
Ted Mengi's come back, signed. But I had to first. They wanted like 70 million for him. So I went and got Twanzebe off him for 30 mil. And then the following season, I got Ted.
That's nice.
I'm balling, mate. My Sunderland team is the one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why do you go Sunderland?
Because they were in League One. They're a big team, aren't they? So I thought, give me like a challenge, but I want a team that's recognisable and you could actually build them into a team that could win the Premier League.
Do you play the intro to Sunderland Till I Die when...
when every day.
On the dark side of
You know what's funny?
Getting your
I can't
suit and
stand
tie on.
Sunderland fans.
Really?
Remember the Poznanian bastards? Remember that?
Yeah.
You know
Against
what I
us?
mean?
Yeah,
Horrible,
I do remember that. Of course I do. Good though, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't good.
Football's back this weekend. Man United play Brighton tomorrow. Are you excited?
Big time.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Brighton's a scary one, isn't it?
Because they're good.
They're good and bad. They're exactly... Danny Welbeck is the epitome of Brighton.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, sometimes you watch him and think...
Like you say,
shit,
amazing. Like, most of the time, Danny Welbeck is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But sometimes you watch and you think, what's going on?
I think Brighton have got like the 4th or 3rd highest, most touches in the opposition box of any team in the league. They're a proper good team. They just can't score.
Graham Potter managed England.
Yeah, I'd love that. I think the sad thing is, he may well get relegated when really the job he's done with this team, he should be talking about getting the Wolves job or the Leicester job when Rodgers goes to a bigger team. The Arsenal job, that's the sort of jobs he should be after.
Spurs job.
And yet he might be stuck with a fucking Sheffield Wednesday job next season if he's not lucky. Like, it's ridiculous what's going on there.
You hate Sheffield Wednesday, don't you?
I like Sheffield Wednesday. They're just in a lot of shite at the minute.
I like Sheffield Wednesday.
Why?
First team I saw play against Man United.
Of course, yeah. So,
Like, when I put my 20 teams that I won in the Premier League, like, who would be in your perfect Premier League?
United.
All right, so we know Man United,
Arsenal,
Chelsea, Liverpool, Leeds,
I guess you have to say City now because they've won
City,
4.
Villa,
Yeah. I'll use my
Newcastle.
because I've got 10 fingers.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
See, I would go Borough and Sunderland.
Fucking hell. Nah.
Get them all in there.
No Wolves.
I'd go Villa,
Well, get your
Blues.
fingers out then.
Villa, Blues.
Right. And then that's 10.
Yeah, I got 10. So now use yours.
And
Do I have
then,
to hold this up still?
Yeah. And then Ipswich,
Nah.
Sheffield United,
Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Not Sheffield United. Would you go Sheffield United?
I mean, they've done
Crystal
one-
Palace have to be in there.
Palace.
For some reason, I feel like saying QPR, but I won't.
Fuck that.
Um,
West Brom, Bolton,
did we say
Burnley,
Borough? Blackburn.
Blackburn,
Fucking hell.
Borough,
Southampton.
Southampton. Got 5 more. Reading, Aldershot, Taplow, Winnersh. Yeah. What else is there? Forest.
Up north. Forest, yeah.
Upton Park.
Forest would be in there for me,
Yeah.
actually.
Even though they only did like 4 years in there.
Would you go Norwich or Ipswich?
Norwich.
Nah, Ipswich.
Ipswich are barely in there.
Bruv, Ipswich are in the UEFA Cup, you mad geezer.
Speaking of
Herman
UEFA
Heraudson
Cup-
and them, man.
Oh, and then, man, yeah. Forgot. And the rest can be left up to the imagination. You think we're going to beat Brighton? That's what I want to know. That's really all I want to know from you, to be honest.
Like, Burnley wouldn't be in my 20, you know.
Because you're a dickhead. Would you have
Blackburn would be there.
Wigan?
Nah, they're not a
Bournemouth?
Nah. I'm old school, bruv.
Are we going to beat Brighton?
Danny Welbeck might score, but we'll win. 3-1.
That's nice. You like to hear that, don't you?
I like Danny Welbeck. Daddy Welbeck, some might say.
We might say.
You might say.
Well, yeah, you said it first.
You might scream it.
Right, thank you very much for joining us. Again, this show was sponsored by Manscaped, so make sure you use the code Paddock20 at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping.
And although it's
Look
called
at me there.
Manscaped, yeah?
Yeah.
Joe's mum uses one.
Yeah, Nanscaped. When she
Momscaped,
uses it,
mate.
Nanscaped.
Momscaped.
It's like RuneScape.
Nanscaped.
RuneScape?
Sisscaped. Momscaped. Nanscaped.
Broscaped.
Broscaped.
Dadscaped.
Yes, get on it, mate.
Lovely.
Paddock
Yeah, make sure
20.
you check it out. Paddock 20 for 20% off and free shipping. I've been Stephen Howson, quite frankly. You've been Adam Mckola.
You want to be Adam Mckola? I'll be Stephen Howson.
Yeah, I've been Adam Mckola.
I've been Stephen Howson.
Thank you very much for joining us. See you in a bit.